And it says showtime. We are live. It's late. It's 11 o'clock. and everybody's asleep except me. I'm on the West Coast, so right now it's 2 o'clock in the morning in New York and on the entire East Coast. But I just wanted to do this live real brief and quick. This might be about 30 minutes. Let me get it ready. Hold on.
Control, you see, that came over me. Good love. I'm a little dangerous. I usually don't aim for such, but tonight I'm on the mission. Give me that. Won't you give me some of that too, baby? I think I can't get enough. Let me drink it until I'm drunk. Say, give me that. Hey, won't you give me some of that too? I ain't gonna ever stop. Give me all you got. You, yeah, but I feel it right. It comes at the strangest time. You don't talk about I can give taste of it, but you go waste it.
Just wait for it.
Here we go.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get into this. What's happening, YouTube family? We got 12 in the clip. I know it's late, but I ain't gonna make this long. Usually I be going on 2 hours, so this may be about. Well, I always say it's gonna be short, then end up running my mouth. But this will be about 30 minutes, and we done. Uh oh, she say fixing it. My F keeps sliding off. I just fixed that shit an hour ago. I meant to put a new nail in it because it's loose. What up, Donnie? So I made Donnie Williams and Roshonda Hayward moderators now. Okay, I appreciate y'all and y'all love. Right, I appreciate y'all support. Um, we're gonna get down and dirty. You welcome, sweetie. We're gonna get down and dirty. And hey, Roshonda, email me. I think I put my email in the description. Or email me so I can have your email. um, so we're gonna get down and dirty. I have the title here. It says Black People. Hold on, hold on. I hear some noise. Uh oh. Okay, that means it's time to go. My bad. All right. So we're gonna get this thing cracking. And title says Black People, Moroccan Slaves, the Real Moors and Aboriginals. The real historical truth. Because we're gonna clarify and give people clarity. Because people are confused and brainwashed because they're part of this conscious community cult. It is a low key online cult. Do not get that twisted, right? Um, greetings, Miss M. How you doing, lady? What's up, Rashonda, Donnie Williams, Dr. Banoob, T Ben? I hear you about the day trading. I'm just talking in general. Now there may be some day traders that do get down and legit, but in general, these cats be frauds on Facebook and the internet. Um, yeah, Squally Vision. What's happening with you? All right, Mashika Raw Meat Eater. All right. So let me just go ahead and get down. And the reason why I have this title like this, Black People, because all of a sudden, as of the last 2 years, people seem to not know what black people are. So we're going to clarify that. People seem to act like they don't know what black people no more. And they say it's a social construct, which it is. But I'm in a social construct world. I'm in a society, social construct. I'm in a society that uses religiously every goddamn day the word black man or black people all the time. And these same people who use the word black or identify as a black person or celebrate Black History Month, these same people is playing dumb now because Chief X said the ancient Egyptians ain't black folk. Right? So since Chief X said the ancient Egyptians ain't black folk, niggas start playing dumb, manipulating people's mind, and acting like they don't know what black people is no more. The black people I'm talking about are the same black people Dr. Ben said when he wrote his book called The Black Man of the Nile. When Dr. Ben wrote his book, The Black Man of the Nile, not one individual on the planet in the conscious community ever said, "Oh, Dr. Ben, who is black folk? I don't know who black folk is, and it's a social construct." And ain't nobody checked Dr. Ben. Nobody done on any of that. Nobody done any of that until Chief X came out with "Black Egyptians ain't black" and shook up the entire conscious community to the point where they're scared as hell. They have fear, and a lot of y'all might not know, but there's about 4 or 5 other platforms out here I be trying to come on and have a discussion with, and they are scared to death of Chief X because of this reason. I don't want to get too off on the limb. So I have Moroccan slaves, which is going to clarify who black people is. It's going to clarify who the Moors really are, which is Arab and Berbers. And I'm going to tell you the black people that were in Morocco were slaves from West Africa, period. I have the real Moors. I'm going to show you who the real Moors is, which is Arabs and Berbers, not sub-Saharan Africans. And I have Aboriginals because I was going back and forth with a bunch of uneducated conscious community dudes the other day. And people in the conscious community talk about this group of people called the Abos, which is short for Aboriginal. And 85% of the people in the conscious community had no idea what Aboriginal peoples is. They thought it was African folk. They thought it was people who they think are the first people on the planet. Straight 100% bullshit. Okay? Now, this is my title, and I'm just giving an explanation of what I'm about to go into for the next 30 minutes. I'm about to drop some heat. Let's go. Oops. Okay. So let me share my screen. It's a delay. I got my tablet here. I just want to make sure everything is working right. Yeah, I see the comments. It popped up. All right, let's go. First off, let's start off with who black folk is. Black folk is who I've been saying who it is. I mainly say black folk are sub-Saharan Africans, period. And I may say some black folk are in Oceania. But in general, black folk is a Western concept for sub-Saharan Africans or descendants. Hold on. Sub-Saharan Africans or descendants of sub-Saharan Africans throughout the diaspora. Period. I'm not talking about melanated people. I'm not playing no motherfucking skin color game. You guys know who black folk is. I know who black folk is. I know what my mama looked like. I know what my daddy looked like. I know what all my homies I grew up with look like. These are black folk. African Americans is what I'm talking about, is black folk. We descend from West and Central Africa. Anybody who considers himself a black American came from West and Central Africa. Period. Anybody else is an immigrant to America. Understand that. I'm talking about black folk, which is people who were in them cotton fields of America. Stop playing with me. Let me clarify what the fuck I mean when I say black folk. All them people in the cotton fields of America. Guess who wasn't in them cotton fields and sugar plantations in the Caribbean? Guess who wasn't there? Immigrants. There wasn't no Russian immigrants. There wasn't no Nigerian immigrants. There wasn't no women in excuse me. There was no immigrants. There were American descendants of the system of slavery in America who came from West and Central Africa and were spread out through the diaspora. Period. I know Cambodians that are darker than the musical artist Prince. It doesn't mean he's black. I've been to the Philippines when I was in the Navy. I know Filipinos that are darker than Sarah Sutanseti, but they're not black. So I'm not talking about skin color. In general, black folk got nappy, kinky hair, period. All 100% of West and Central Africans, not 99, but 100% of West and Central indigenous Africans have nappy, tightly coiled hair. None of them have loose curly hair, except black Americans. Why? Because we're admixed and we have European DNA in us and other little shit sometimes. But continental West and Central Africans are 100% tightly coiled, nappy haired people, black people. Let me prove my point. Here we go. They even have a Wikipedia page for black people. And let's clarify who black folk is. Since niggas is playing dumb and they trying to be Egyptians, so they trying to act like they don't know who black people is. They know the ancient Egyptians and the modern day Egyptians are not black people. Let's stop playing. Black people. Let's just give a definition. Okay? Black is a racialized classification of people, usually a political and skin color based category for specific populations with a mid to dark brown complexion. Not all people considered black have dark skin. In certain countries, often socially based systems of racial classifications in the Western world, right? The term black is used to describe persons who are perceived as dark skinned compared to other populations. But to clarify, it is most commonly used for people of sub-Saharan ancestry. Okay? I didn't make that up. That's what it's commonly used for. People of sub-Saharan ancestry and people in the Americas are descendants of sub-Saharan African ancestry. Period. Also, I said in the beginning, people in Oceania and the indigenous people of Oceania, though it has been applied in many contexts to other groups. Okay? Now, who are the indigenous people of Oceania? Huh? Okay, let's check this out. Where am I? Okay, let's just go right here. Let me just click on it. Indigenous people of Oceania. Indigenous people of Oceania are what? Aboriginal Australians. Now, I don't call Aboriginal Australians black, but that's just my personal thing. But since we're also going to talk about who an Aboriginal is, an Aboriginal is a term specifically and only for original Australians. It's not a term for African people. It's not a term for black Americans. It's not a term for European people. It's not a term for any Asian people. But I will say sometimes Native Americans in Canada are given the label as Aboriginal because of people coming through the Bering Straits through an empty land, which is the Western Hemisphere, and populating Canada, United States, Mexico, all the way down to the Brazil, which is the Western Hemisphere. But when you hear the word Aboriginal in science and in history, they're talking about one specific people only, and that is original Australians. Now, to double down on that, you see it says right here, indigenous people in Oceania, Aboriginal Australians. Period. It don't say Aboriginal Papuans. It don't say Aboriginal Austronesians. It don't say Aboriginal Micronesians. It don't say Aboriginal Polynesians. It don't say Aboriginal Europeans. You won't find that. You won't find Aboriginal Asians. You won't find Aboriginal Africans. Nowhere will you find that. Understand what I'm talking about. Now, let's get back to black people. So, black people in general, from the understanding and description we have, is in general, commonly, meaning in general, people of sub Saharan Africa and sub Saharan African descent. A Dravidian in India is not a black person. They're highly melanated with straight hair, but we don't call them black people, and that's not who I'm referring to. People need to stop jiving, okay? Chief X is not talking about skin color and tint of the skin. That's silly. Because all people around the world who are melanated, which is the majority of the population, vary in ranges of skin color. When I went to Thailand, I seen dark skinned Thailand people and light skinned Thailand people. I seen light skinned Filipinos and dark skinned Filipinos. When you go to Arabs, you'll see light skinned Arabs and you'll see dark skinned Arabs. You'll see Wesley Snipes, Black as Midnight, and you'll see the artist Prince, light skinned. So I'm not talking about skin color and tint. I'm being specific about sub Saharan African people and their descendants throughout the diaspora and or some people in Oceania. Are we clear? That's who Dr. Ben meant when he wrote his book, Black Man of the Nile, which you guys never gave any pushback on. So don't give pushback to me when I lay down on it. Now, I have Moors, the real Moors, because black Americans in the conscious community. Wait a minute. Let me just tell you. Today, this weekend has been a rainy weekend in California. It rains here. We don't get a lot of rain, but it rains here. And this weekend has been rainy. It's been cold all week. Cold to me is 56 degrees. That's why I got my onesie on today in the house, in my little hood of my onesie. Because it's been a little chilly and I turned my heater off. And I got my little onesie on today. I love my onesie. Kiss my ass. Now, check this out. Let's go here. Let me show you who a Moor is. Moors. Here's a picture of Moors. Do they look black? Because they're not. Moors are specifically and only Berbers and Arabs of North African Muslim descent. I would prefer to say Northwest African Muslim descent or people from the Maghreb. That's not black folk. That's not black folk. This is a picture of Moors, Castilian ambassadors, excuse me, let me just go. This is a picture of Moors. This is a picture of Moors, Arabs and Berbers. Not black folk. You have to get that in your head and understand. What happened is people got caught up on the etymology of the word Moor instead of who is a Moor. It's a difference, people. This is a picture of Moor. Hold on, let me turn this down. The etymology of Moor and who a Moor is two different things. The conscious community for decades until Chief X came on the fucking scene and clarified this shit used to think that a Moor was a black person. And they focused on The trick, which was the etymology of the word Moor, which just basically means in general dark. So black Americans said, hey, I'm dark. That means I'm a Moor. No, Folio. There are dark people everywhere around the world. Let's define Moor. Derived from the ancient Maori, is an excellent first used by Christian Europeans to designate what? Muslim inhabitants of the Maghreb, just like I said. What is the Maghreb, Chief X? This is the Maghreb. This is not sub-Saharan Africa. Let's be clear. Do you see the map? This is North Africa. This is basically the Amazigh people's lands, or what we call Berbers, but their proper name is Amazigh people. Amazigh people are not black people. God damn. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Okay. You know what the Maghreb is. That would be considered the Maghreb. It's North Africa. Let's go back. Moors are Muslims, inhabitants of the Maghreb. The Maghreb, the Iberian Peninsula, Sicily, and Malta during the Middle Ages. Okay? Applied the names Arabs and North African Berbers. I know what I'm talking about. The conscious community was wrong. Chief X is teaching the conscious community and trying to wake them up out the cult they in the misinformation they were giving by their cult leaders. Arabs and North African Berbers, as well as what? Muslim Europeans. A Moor is not a black American, a sub-Saharan African, or any of that bullshit you guys was indoctrinated with. It also goes on to say the term Moor has been used in Europe in a broader, somewhat derogatory sense to refer to Muslims in general, especially those of Arab and Berber descent, whether living in Spain or what? North Africa. Not sub-Saharan Africa. Are we clear now? Now, come on back to me. We're almost done. We're almost done. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm clean shaven. I took me a little shower and I shaved my shit. You see, I'm clean today. Chief X handsome tonight. Check this out. Now, did my F fall down again, or I just never fixed it? Okay, anyway. Now, understand this. Any black folk in Morocco, because North Africa has never, ever, 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 in the history of mankind, black people were never, ever, and are not indigenous to North Africa, the Levant, Europe, the Near East, or the Caucasus. That is not our lands, and we did not originate anywhere from there. And not one people, tribe, black nation, or anything is indigenous to them lands. We come from sub-Saharan Africa, period. We weren't a seafaring people and didn't travel like that. I'm sorry. Okay? Now, any black folk, we describe what black folk is, let's not be confused anymore, that were in Morocco were slaves of Moroccans, were slaves of Berbers and Arabs, were slaves of Moors, the real Moors. Prove that shit, Chief X. Okay, let's go here real quick. Let me do this. Hold on. I'm gonna show you something. And this is where my journey began. I've been on this shit for years. Look here. Let me show you real quick. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen. This I think people should watch. I made this video specifically 4 damn years ago. Way before I made Black Egypt Debunked. I was been hinting at you guys. I've been trying to clarify for you guys and show you North Africa has never ever been Black Africa. This video right here, let me blow it up so you can see the title. It's titled Tuareg. Hold on. Tuareg peoples, Berbers, Arabs, Moors exposed. And I explained the Tuareg people, which is an outlier tribe of Berbers who have generational slaves born into the tribe. So you'll see dark-skinned Tuaregs and black people who look like Tuaregs who look like they're black, but they're just slave descendants and concubines of white Moors or Berber Arab Moors. Be clear. This was an hour and 35-minute presentation I did, and this is one of my best presentations. It was 4 years ago. Not many people have seen it. Everyone listen to me now probably have never seen this debate, and I sincerely recommend you go back and watch this debate. It's amazing. Amazing. If you watch this, you'll be totally clear. God damn it, and you'll say thank you, Chief X. I appreciate that education. Okay. So I just want to let you know 4 years ago, I've been on this and I was teaching this 4 years ago. This video has what? 2,700 views. Basically 3,000 views. Okay? I dedicated this to Sabir Bey because we were beefing at that time, and he cowered up and didn't want to touch none of this information. He just seen this video and said, "Oh, I can't fuck with this. Chief X dropped too many daggers." Okay, so let me do this. Come on back to me. Moroccan slaves. We broke down who black folk is. We broke down on who the real Moors is. Let's go to the Moors slaves, aka Moroccan slaves. And any black folk you see, let me say it this way. For years, for decades, black Americans or conscious community people used to think that there was this black Moorish army that just went up in Spain, aka Iberian Peninsula, and ran shit and conquered, and black folk were the Moors, and we nope, 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 nope. John Henry Clark used to teach about this, but he wasn't specific to let you know those black folk in that army of the Arab and Berbers were just slaves being sent out to fight in war and put on the front line to get slaughtered. You put your low class on the front line. You put your servants and slaves on the front line to get slaughtered as an army, fighting conquistadors. prove that shit, Chief X. Okay. All right. Let me share my screen. Wait a minute. Okay, let's do this. All right, here we go. The Black Guard. As you see on the screen, the Black Guard. Well, Chief X, nobody taught us about the Black Guard. I know they didn't. Because they didn't want you to know that any blacks in Morocco were slaves. They didn't teach you properly, but I am. The Black Guard. They're clear on who black folk is. Let's see who the Black Guard is. This picture right here is the Sultan of Morocco on a horse. He is a Berber or Moor. No, excuse me, I think he's an Arab. Did I say Berber or Moor? Moors are Amazigh people in Arab that are Muslim. This man here is a Arab Muslim in Morocco. Guess who's surrounding him? Servants and slaves. They call them Abid. They made up the frontline army of the leaders, Arabs and or an Amazigh people. Let's go, Chief X. So right here you see the Sultan. Oops. Oops. Why am I fucking this up? Okay, here we go. The Sultan of Morocco with the Black Guard. He's not the Black Guard. He's the Sultan and leader of the Black Guard. Okay? Let's go on down. The Black Guard or Abid al-Bukhari. What is Abid, Chief X? Okay, let's go see what Abid is. Abid. You spell it A-B-E-E-D or A-B-I-D, right? Now, when you go here to the Black Guard, they have what? Abid al-Bukhari, the Black Guard, right? What is an Abid, Chief X? Abid is what they called a slave or servant, a black person, right? Is an Arabic word meaning what? Servant. It is an Arabic word meaning servant or slave. Did Chief X lie? Or are you niggas just miseducated? This may sound harsh, but it's just the reality that you need to know. Because the conscious community is a cult who brainwashed you and miseducate you. So I'm here to tear down them walls and remodel this shit because there's mold in the walls and it's all fucked up and wrong. And I'm trying to bring you guys back to sub-Saharan Africa and out of Egypt. So an abid or abid is an Arabic word meaning servant or slave. You see it. The term is used sometimes in the Arab word as a ethnic slur for black people. We went over what black people is, and they're talking about sub-Saharan Africans. Okay? And date back to what? The Arab slave trade. Who was they slave trading? Sub-Saharan Africans. I'm making this plain. This is common sense science. The word In North Sudan, the term Abid and Abid are commonly used to refer to South Sudanese people, mostly Dinka or the Nuer, which is Nilotic black ass people. Dinka tribe. South Sudanese, who were considered by many North Sudanese as a slave tribe. Are we clear? That's what an Abid is. Now let's get back to the Black Guard. The Black Guard, or Abid al-Bakuri. What does it say? Excuse me. Slaves of the al-Bakuri. Just like I told you. Slaves of the Diwan. A what? A slave army. Let me blow it up in case you niggas is blind and want to play dumb. Slave army. So any black folk you see in the Black Guard with the Arab or Berber leader is leading you niggas to war and destruction and putting you on the front line. The Moors weren't black, but the Moors used slaves and servants in their army to fight. You get it? Were the corpse of black African slaves and inheriting slave soldiers. You was a slave soldier being put on the front line. Let's stop the cap and all the lies. A Harriton, since you guys didn't know, and I showed this in my video, right here. But they become part of the family. Tuareg people, Berbers, Arabs, and more. I talked about this and taught this in this video 4 years ago. They live in a tent, but I think they have a separate tent, but they all kick it like a family. Although she's a slave girl and does the hard work. She's a Harriton girl. I told you niggas this 4 years ago. And she's amongst the Tuareg tribe because her mama is a concubine to an Arab or an Amazigh man. And this Arab or Amazigh man had sub-Saharan women as their concubines, and they were fucking them and producing children. So when you say the Tuareg or black people, no, they're descendants of slaves and concubines for generations, but they come from sub-Saharan West Africa. They're not indigenous to Morocco. Okay, so let me get back to the Black Guard. And you'll see a picture of a Harriton right here. Her descendants and ancestors are from West Africa. Although she is in Morocco in a servant type or low class, but their origins come from West Africa. Because why, Chief X? North Africa has never, ever, 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 ever been Black Africa. And any blacks you see in North Africa come from a slave caste. Okay. Okay, so right here, you'll see the slaves of Bukhari. Okay? Because the Sultan Ismail emphasized the importance of the teachings of famous, excuse me, let me make this smaller. so I can see. Okay, so we're clear that the black guard is black folk and slaves. Now, they continued, and you'll see the black guard right here, blowing the trumpets on horseback. At this time, there was no war, though. But as you see the guy on the right running them, they're all descendants of West Africans. Okay, so let me move off this. Okay, um, here we go. You need to see this. Present day, the Black Guard name was changed to what? The Moroccan Royal Guard after Morocco regained its independence in 1956. So the Black Guard is no longer. They got them niggas the fuck up out of there. And they created the Royal Guard. And let me show you a picture of the Royal Guard. They're no longer niggas. The Moroccan Royal Guard. No more black folk. They kicked them niggas out. They was done using them. The Royal Guard, Moroccan Guard. There they go. Not black folk no more. Times have changed. They kicked them niggas out. The pair of Royal Moroccan Guards. They're no longer the Black Guard. They're royal now, and they wasn't gonna call no niggas royal. Let's be honest. Okay? There we go. You don't see no niggas on horseback no more in these days. They got rid of them niggas. They got rid of the Black Guard and they switched it to the Moroccan Royal Guard because niggas wasn't royal to them. Okay, there they go. Guard and shit now. Back in the day, they used to be servants doing this shit now, but now they get a salary and they called Royal Guards. Okay? So we're clear on that? I busted your bubble. It's okay. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Just bring your ass back to West Africa and get out North Africa fronting and stealing people's history. That's all you need to do. And be a proud West Central African. Right? So we busted that down. Let me make this smaller so I can see what I'm doing. Oops, this thing froze on me. Okay, so we busted that down. We're clear now on who. Hold on. Let me come on back to you. So we broke down who black folk is. We broke down Moroccan slaves. We broke down the real Moors. We talked about the Aboriginals just a little bit, but let's clarify even further. Aboriginal Australians. Hold on, I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on. Aboriginal people. I told you, Aboriginal people. This is a separate subject away from the Moors and Morocco and the Black Guard. Because people argue with me about, oh, and because niggas thought they was Aboriginal. I said, no, I'm sorry, bro. That's not you. So let's do this. When you type in Aboriginal peoples, Aboriginal Australians come up, right? These are Aboriginal peoples. People of Tasmania and the original people who landed in Australia 25,000 years after the out of Africa theory. And these ain't you. They not related to you. And their DNA has nothing to do with you. These are ancient old people. You are a mutant. Chief X is a mutant. We are all mutations. These are Aboriginal people. Ab means away or from. In other words, away or from the original, right? They have loose curly hair. They do not have nappy, tightly coiled hair. You can say they have frizzy hair sometimes, but they're not considered a tightly coiled hair people. They're loose curly hair people and totally different. They look like archaic people, really, if you just want to be honest. They have this archaic human look to them because they are an old people. That's why they call them Aboriginal. Old people in bloodline. Okay? That's not you. Now, some people call them black people, but I wouldn't call them black people. I would just simply call them Aboriginal people for clarity. I would not want somebody to hear me say, hey, these are black people and mistake them from Leroy from Compton. This ain't Leroy from Compton. Okay? Aboriginal Australians. Only one people are various indigenous people. Let me blow this up so you crazy people can see. Aboriginal people or Aboriginal Australians are various indigenous people of the Australian mainland. Not Africa, not Europe, not Asia, not America, not you. From the Australian mainland, in as many of its islands such as Tasmania. So you have Tasmanian people, the Tasmanian devil, right? A lot of these people were damn near genocide put on them, okay? Such as Tasmania, Fraser Island, Tiwi Islands. I mean, a lot of them small islands around Australia. The term Indigenous Australians refers to Aboriginal Australians. Okay? It's the same thing as Aborigine. So let's go do this. Aborigines. Let's just look that up. And here we go right here. Because people seem to think that was some different. It's just a different pronunciation of the same thing. Aborigine, right? And when you look up Aborigine, it gives you a noun, right? And it says what? An indigenous inhabitant of Australia. Did it say an indigenous inhabitant of Europe? Did it say an indigenous inhabitant of Africa? Did it say an indigenous inhabitant of Asia? No. It only says an indigenous inhabitant of Australia. I know what I'm talking about. Them cats was wrong trying to argue with me. I told people this and they fucking had a heart attack and couldn't understand. It was just like me telling you, hey, bro, Jesus don't exist. What? Oh, my God, what? And they snapped and having a nervous breakdown because they learned something new and what they thought it meant got debunked. So they get an attitude because they realized that shit they was teaching wasn't intelligent or correct and that they was wrong. So now all of a sudden they got an attitude with Chief X because Chief X taught them something new and debunked that old shit that they thought they was right on. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at yourself for being dumb and fooled and in the cult. I admit Chief X used to be in a cult. I had to learn the hard way also. I got over it. You get over it too. An indigenous inhabitant of Australia. No other place. God damn. This is simple, basic, elementary understanding. Okay? So when you hear the term Aboriginal or Aborigine, they're talking about original Australians from way back. Nobody else. I will add a caveat for clarity because people try to debunk me on this, but I'm the one who told them this. Sometimes they call an Aboriginal people who were original Native Americans in Canada. This is the caveat. So don't act like Chief X ain't said that when someone tries to come for him. Outside of them two people, 90% of the time, they're talking about original Australians. Do you get it? Okay. So we went over Abid, slave servant. We went over what black people is, in general, sub-Saharan Africans and people in the diaspora that went through the slave trade, and sometimes people in Oceania, like Aboriginal. I don't call Aboriginals black people, but sometimes they have, I don't. You can do it if you want. I'm not going to argue with you about it, but I just don't. I just simply call them Aboriginal people for clarity. If you say black people, then you're going to confuse them with a nigga from Compton, and that's not what they are. Okay? We went over the Black Guard, which was servants and slaves of Moroccans or Moors, which are Arab and Amazigh people. Are we clear? We went over Aboriginal. We went over Aborigine. We went over who the real Moors are and all the above. Anybody disagree with this, we can have a discussion or a debate. But you guys don't want to debate. This is the reason why all these conscious community niggas fear me. Because I'm going to make it plain and destroy all your beliefs that you were miseducated about. This is why when you say, "Oh, don't let Chief X on the panel," "Oh no, Chief, oh no, Chief X, don't let that, oh no," because I'm smacking niggas up. And I body slammed all the people who they thought was correct and their teachers and elders. So they fear me. Let's be real. All these cats act tough and act like they just some intellectual giants and they were built for this, but they weren't built for it to deal with me. You were built for it to deal with these nutcases. This is why Ankh of the Amun Ra squad you'll see him debating Hebrew Israelites, mentally disturbed people and shit. I tell you, Ankh likes to debate Napatali and shit. And recently, these niggas is literally trying to get clout and argue with a 90-year-old man who's on the verge of dementia. You niggas have the audacity to argue with and debate a 90-year-old man and mentally disturbed people, but you don't want this smoke at all. I'm young and virulent. I can still get down. What? You see that perfect form and imperfect jabs? Let me stop. Wait a minute. Let me see. Somebody said something. What you say? Let me read some comments. Aboriginal is an old English term for a native of any country. The Australian Aboriginal term is what we are used to hearing, but it's not exclusive to Australia. Oh, okay. So you may have not been here in the beginning of this presentation. So let me clarify something for you. Let's just look up the darn word and put it on blast so everyone can see. Hold on, let me share my screen again so everyone can see. I'm very clear on this. If you didn't watch this whole thing, go back to the beginning before you question me about anything. I teach this. Okay? Aboriginal. Let's go. Aboriginal. What you have here is what you said, a native of any country, right? It's not exclusive to Australia. Okay. So what you're doing is doing this. You're reading the adjective. That's the adjective. Now, a noun is a person, place, or thing. So let's go down to the noun and dig deeper. We're passing the adjective and we're going to the noun, which is a person, place, or thing. So when we talk about aboriginal as a person or a people, here we go. Noun. You see? It's a person, place, or thing. What's the definition of an aboriginal person? A person belonging to one of the indigenous peoples of what? Australia. Did it say Asia? Nope. Did it say Europe? Nope. Did it say Africa? Nope. It said specifically Australia. Because why? They were the aboriginal inhabitant of a place. Because out of Africa theory, these people landed in Australia 25,000 years later, which is 50,000 years ago. And they were the first people in that place. And those people are called indigenous peoples of Australia. That's the noun, which is a person, place, or thing. Let me do this. I got you. But thanks for your participation. No, I hear you, DJ. So you say nope. You give it. But see, what the thing of what I'm doing here is I'm not trying to confuse people. I'm just trying to make it plain. These are little, what you're talking about is some extra stuff and it complicates things. To be plain, I'm just trying to tell people what Aboriginal means and who an Aboriginal people is. Now, there's different meticulous, particular things involved. I don't want to cloud the issue. I'm telling black people, and the reason I'm saying is so black Americans understand that they're not Aboriginal people because they've been calling themselves Aboriginal. That's what I mean. So for black Americans, I have to let you know that you're not Aboriginal people. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Okay? For clarity. So let me read a few comments. What up, Donnie? You say, Dr. Banu, keeping it real. You got to keep it real. JC said Niger Congo people have 18% goat DNA. Do we have a ghost DNA? I don't know if it's 18% though, but there is some ghost DNA. black people equal black people equals Niger Congoid people. Yeah, Congoid, Africoid. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Aboriginal people, he says, harbor maybe 4 to 5% denisovan DNA. That is true. Also, Aboriginal people have a higher Neanderthal DNA than most people on the planet because they were the ones traveling out of Africa and admixing with archaic populations like Neanderthal before they got to Australia, right? So this is why they have a high amount of Denisovan and Neanderthal DNA because they were admixing before they got to Australia 25,000 years later. Banu said Aboriginals are OG. Basically, yep. Servants. You're right, Donnie. Who's not Moors? I'm not understanding, JC. I broke it. See, some people were late to this discussion. Like when you come to discussion, never start reading the book in the middle. Rewind that thing to the end and say, fuck the chat. Rewind it to the beginning and just start. And just be 30, 40 minutes behind. It's okay. Because the purpose is to get the information, not deal with the chat. You get what I'm saying? Thanks for your participation, JC. Now, look here, people. You guys, a lot of people didn't know none of this. And it's okay to send a brother a little super chat. You wouldn't have got this information nowhere. It is okay to send me a cash app. I'm not begging for cash app, but one time throughout my presentation, maybe at the end, I may say, hey, you can shoot a brother cash app, and I just put it up there to let you know it's there. But when you see a person begging for cash apps throughout the whole presentation, and every time they say something, hey, Shimmick, that's a nigga miseducating you. I don't get paid for this. I'm playing music before this stuff started, so I get a copyright strike. And I can't monetize the video now because I played somebody else's video. So I'm not doing this for no funds or fee. But if somebody wanted to cash at me and say, hey, Chief X, I appreciate the education. I appreciate the information. I did not know that before you told me. You can drop a brother $5. It's okay. I take $1. It's okay. Also, I'm able to receive super chats if you don't live in America. I'm sitting here, people downloading my videos. They're all over TikTok. I mean, people are getting 1 million views, 300,000 views, 80,000 views, 200,000 views on at least about 30 different clips of me, all on TikTok. I don't even know. People got to say, hey, Chief X, you on TikTok. I'm like, damn. I'm saying the same thing on my channel. I can't get no views like none of them. And they download my shit and they getting 300,000 views, 1 million views, all on my shit. Ain't get. I'm barely getting 1,000 views over here, and they sitting here going viral on TikTok. Crazy. I guess TikTok is little brief clips. I'm not active on TikTok. I think I just started TikTok just to look and peek at shit, but I've never uploaded anything on TikTok. I'm not a TikToker. Okay? So, damn, we've been here an hour and 11 minutes. I only wanted to make this 30 minutes, so let me just read some more comments in case I missed something. Yeah, the Sultan is no fool. He sends he sends folks to the front line, and those were servants. So when people say, "Hey, the Black Army," knows an army of slaves and servants being slaughtered on the front line. I see. Dr. Banu got a scary. Because a lot of times, let me just tell you, I had to clarify this. Watch this. Let me show you. Thank you for saying the scary. You just reminded me of something that's related to this. So let me just do this real quick before we get out of here. Real quick before we get out of here. Oops. You won't find not one black man in this so-called conscious community mentioning or talking about the Ascari. Trust me, you won't. But guess who has? Let me share my screen. I've been teaching this forever. Oops. Where am I at? Where am I at? Where am I at? No, not that one. Not that one. I just pulled it up. Okay, there we go. As you see right here, I said Moore's lies. This was 5 years ago. I said Moors versus the Ascari conscious community wake up time. Look,
And Leopold.
Moore's lies. Moors versus the Ascari conscious community wake up call. How long ago was this? 5 years ago. Man, I'm way ahead of the curve. This is way in 2017. I was telling you who the Ascari is. You know why I did this video? Because Sarah Soon said he made a video of the Ascari under Mussolini running all through Central Africa. And he was calling them the Moors because they had a fez on their head, right?
Belts. Each one of them.
Let me just show you.
If black.
See? They had a fez on their head. And Sarah Sunseti taught the whole entire conscious community that these people were the Moors and black folk was Moors. He was fucking dead wrong. These were called the Ascari, not Moors. Moors wore a turban, not a fez. So when the black American Moors are wearing a fez, they're confused. These are police. The Ascari is the police. So all black American Moors wearing a fez, they're wearing a police uniform. Prove that shit, Chief X. Okay, let me prove it. Ascari, as you see. He's an Ascari. You see the Ascari right here? With the fez? A fez looking type hat? Shit that Taharka Bay wears? And they trying to tell you they're Moors and shit? Nope. They're confused. They're copying something they never done the research on. Moors in Morocco and the Maghreb and stuff wear a turban, not a fez. The people who wear fez were the Ascari. That's the Ascari, which is who? The police. These are police for European colonial powers. They're policing for European colonial powers. Prove that shit, Chief X. They also call them King's African Rifles, right? What are the Ascari, Chief X? Let me show you. Oops. Ascari. From Somali, Swahili, and Arabic, meaning what? Soldier or military, right? Which also means what? Police. 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 So all these black American Moors talking that dumb shit and confused and brainwashed are wearing a police hat and have no clue. Oh, tell Sabir Bey and Taharka Bey why you got on the military police hat. Tell them nope. Telling the Maghreb and Morocco that they wore the Moors wore a turban. not a motherfucking fez. This is what I mean by the conscious community is a fucking cult. Everybody's confused and miseducated. The Magi is the police. The Magi was fighting for Caucasoids called European, excuse me, called Egyptians, and banging on Nubians and Cushites. Yep, the Magi. That's who they were, the police. Prove that shit, Chief X. Okay. Later as a generic term for Desert Ranger police. Smash Rockwell the police. Should be hilarious. And this is why these niggas is scared to death of Chief X. Oh no. This nigga gonna stop the money. This nigga gonna fuck up the Hotep hustle. This nigga's telling too much truth. No, we need to deceive these people. Oh no, don't let Chief X on the panel. Crazy. Basically, Dr. Banu. Turncoats. Ascari Magi. Popo, yep. um, so yeah. Little nice brief education. This shit was powerful. Keep that shit real. I'm out, y'all. Enjoy your evening.